What's up, Dragon Nation? I'm Rich with Dragon Nation Gaming. Welcome back to Farm Simulator 2022. This episode, I actually need to go back a little bit. There were a few episodes that I lost because I was having problems with my recording software. So, now that I got the issue fixed, or at least I hope I got it fixed, we could go ahead and go back to some of the videos that I lost and re-record them. The one that we want to do today is to make ourselves hay bales. Now, this, as you can see, does require a lot of equipment. So, it requires a mower, a tedder, a windrower, a baler, and a bale stacker. But yeah, we have a little bit to do, so let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, so first off, let me explain what's going on. So, I was having issues with my recording software, and for some reason the audio was overlapping, like the first half of the video and the second half were overlapping together, so I kind of lost those episodes, and I wasn't able to fix the problem with those videos, but I reinstalled all my recording software and editing software, so now hopefully the problem is solved. I make sure everything was updated. I have no idea what the problem was, but it's one of those things that I'll probably never know. So what I did was I came into my test world where we usually cheat in some money and stuff, and yeah, got some grass planted, and now we're going to try to harvest it since it is the time. So the first thing when you're dealing with grass is I'm still trying to figure this out, exactly how fast it grows, but once we do the first harvest, I can go ahead and wait and see how long it takes for another harvest to grow, and see just how long in between harvests with the grass. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is go ahead and cut it. Now, there are a couple of different options that you can get with a mower. Now, not only with the different types of equipment, but also what type of mower you use. Let me explain here in a second. Hold on. Let me try. I hate how this store has the hitch in the back like this. So you always have to come in between here, and sometimes you just don't have the room. But other pieces of equipment, it's right here in the front. So it kind of doesn't make any sense. I guess the stuff that you actually pick up with the front of the tractor, the hitch is turned around. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look. So there are a couple of different options that you could get with a mower. One, we could get one that's just an attachment, which we have a lot more options than we used to. A whole lot more options. I think, what was it, 2019 only had like 4 different types of mowers. In this one, we have a ton. Well, it's not a ton. I mean, it is more than it used to be. What is this one? That one actually looks kind of cool. Anyways, so it would be nice to get this one right here, which does have the widest width. It's 12.3 meters. But because of the map that we're on, we have to be very cautious about the width and the length with the turnarounds. Now, this one is on a trailer, which means it's a little bit bigger turnaround, which I don't think it will work on this map. I mean, I probably could get it to work, but yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the Pottinger. So that was 13,500 and 75,000. Now, the biggest problem with this is each one of the attachments have to be operated individually. They don't operate at the same time. What that means is, if I want to unfold both pieces of machinery, both attachments, I have to do one, hit G to switch to the other one, and unfold it. The same thing with running it and dropping it and stuff like that. So it does become kind of a pain in the ass. Alright, so G, X. Now, the option that I could have is I could go ahead and get myself the vehicle that is a large mower. Now, this thing's pretty cool. What is the width on this thing? So this thing has a width of 10 meters. I think that's the same as the piece of equipment that we do have. But each one of the attachments acts as one. they work together. So you only have to hit the X button to unfold once. You don't have to switch between machinery, which is a lot better, saves a little bit of time. And also, I think the vehicle is a little bit faster than the tractors. It cuts just a little bit faster. So what I need to do right now is I need to get these vehicles over to our field where we do have the grass. And then we're going to try to cut it, ted it, windrow it, bale it, and then stack it. So yeah, trying to get bales of hay is a very in-depth process. It does take a lot of actions to get hay. But yeah, we're going to go ahead. Let me actually double check. I assume the grass is ready to cut. It is October. It should be ready. Let's go ahead and check out. So yeah, this is the field where we set up the grass. I wasn't worried about it looking good, so I don't have the grass on the outside. But this one I actually turned into a field before I planted the grass. The reason for that is that way I could go ahead and put an employee on it so I could go do other things. Now, if I just wanted to cut the grass that would be on this ground over here, unfortunately, an employee will not cut that. So yeah, you have to actually make the field before you can. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, start cutting this, and then I'm going to grab the other piece of equipment and we're going to get started with those. Alright, so for right now, we're going to start with the mower, the tedder, and the windrower, which I have on the vehicle right now. Now, the reason for that is because I only have 3 tractors, so I don't really have a choice. But if I did have another tractor, I could also go ahead and start baling. So baling, you cannot hire an employee. Neither can you hire an employee for stacking. So what you want to do, or what I usually do, is I will allow the mower to get a couple of rows, and I always try to make sure that the equipment, that if I'm doing multiple equipment on one piece of land, I try to make sure that those pieces of equipment are pretty much the same width. So the only one that is a little bit wider is our mower, which is 10 meters, which is good because it's the first piece of equipment that needs to cut the grass. The tedder, I think it's this one, is 9 meters, so it's less than the mower. Now, the windrower, unfortunately, I think this one's a little bit, I think it's this one. It's a little bit wider, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to wait for the tedder to get a little bit of the field done before I can start the windrower. Or they're going to collide and get in each other's way. So, then what I have to do is I have to do the baler, and I can't hire an employee. I'm going to have to do that one by hand. But basically what we're trying to do in real life, you would cut the grass. There's a little bit more to it in real life, but it's pretty much the same thing. So you would cut the grass, but what you want to do is you want to dry out the grass. So what you would do is after cutting it, you would let it dry out for like a day or two. Then you would take a what's this called? Tedder. You would take, Jesus Christ, I was just talking about it too. You would take the tedder, and what that would do is it just mixes up the blades of grass, allowing them to flip over so you can also dry the other side, making sure that the grass is completely dry. And that will turn it into hay. Then you take a windrower, put it into rows to make it easier for the baler or a forage harvester to pick up. Now there's a couple things you need to worry about when you're baling. I probably should set it up so I can actually show this, but it just be extra work. But once we get the, God damn it, tedder, why do I keep forgetting that damn word? As you can see, the color of the grass does change from a dark green to a light green. That means right now, those blades of grass are now considered hay. So if we pick that up with the piece of equipment, it's going to show as hay. So yeah, I need to let the tedder run for a little bit. Probably the mower, I'll get the motor out of the way, let the tedder run to about where the mower, well, maybe a little bit further than where the mower is now, and then I'll use the windrower. Now this windrower, if I'm not mistaken, I got a little bit of a traffic jam. This one is actually pretty cool, and the reason I chose it is it creates less rows. So let me go ahead and unfold this. So a lot of the windrowers that you will see have this shield that is in the middle. Let me actually get out and I'll show you. So this shield right here is where the hay is going to end up when this thing does pick it up and it puts it into rows. Am I blocking you? No, you're good. So the cool thing about this one is when we go down, it will make a row of hay. Then when we turn around, the hay is going to go into the same row. This one is actually going to pick up the first row and put it together with the second row. So you end up with half the amount of rows, which makes baling a lot faster than the ones with just the ones in the middle. So that will just make one row, then another row, and then another row. That's why I like this one. Less rows, a little bit faster. So yeah, we need to go ahead and let these guys run a little bit. So yeah, this thing is pretty damn cool. It actually does the same thing as a tedder, pushes the blades of hay into the shield, and that's where your pile is going to be, all the way into a row, all the way down through your piece of land. So once we get that done, we'll let the tedder run for a little while, then we'll go ahead and grab, actually I have to wait for the baler or the mower because I need that damn tractor. So yeah, we'll wait for the mower to finish and we'll get the windrower running. Alright, so now that I got another tractor so I could go ahead and grab the baler, we could go ahead and start picking up some hay. But first we need to go ahead and get the windrow set up. So there's actually something I do want to check. Let's go ahead and hire. Now one thing you do need to be cautious about with, okay, no field. Maybe here? How about now? There it goes. And there it is. Now, as I was saying earlier, the cool thing about this thing is it pushes all the hay over to one side. So when it comes back around to this row, everything will be pushed off that way. And then when it comes to the next row, it will pick up not only this row that the first row that we did, but it will also bring it together with the next row. Let's actually see. That's going to take a little bit of time probably. And we're leaving a little bit of hay behind, but that's okay. So as you can see right now, the shield is on the right hand. Damn, this thing takes a really big turn. The hay is actually on the right hand side. And then when we turn around, it will be still on the right hand side, but on the same side as the other pile. Let's go ahead and go through a row. Easier to explain it when you can actually see what's going on. So what will happen is that shield that all the hay is collecting into to make that pile that we're about to pick up with the baler, that, if I'm correct, I think I am because it worked in the other one, on our other world, once we turn around, it's going to pick up that pile, that row, and it's also going to combine the other row with it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it really takes a big turn. So it's a good thing we did the grass here because there's no hills into the lake. Like in that field over there, it probably would have been a bad idea to put the grass, especially with this machine. My tractor would have ended up in the lake. So as you can see, now the shield is right over that row. So it's going to take everything from the left, it's going to push it all the way over to the right. And all of that, it's two rows that's going to be in one pile. That's why I like this one. Less piles. It makes everything quicker. Alright, now that I was able to explain that, let's go ahead and grab the baler. But there's one thing I do want to explain real quick. One thing I did learn in Farming Simulator, I think it was 15 when I first learned this. As you can see, there is still a little bit of grass that the tedder did not get. What the hell is that sound? No idea. But yeah, that little bit of grass. And if you try to get a baler to pick that up, and it's the first thing that the baler picks up, that first pallet is going to be nothing but grass. So what I try to do is I try to pull forward just a little bit to make sure that I'm getting the resource that I want that bale to be. So let's go ahead and unfold. Yeah, that windrower left behind a lot of hay. Look at that, big ass pile right there. Alright, so now we need to go ahead and drop it. I love the animations. And I want to go ahead, pull forward just a little bit and turn it on to make sure that I'm actually getting hay and not the grass that might have been left behind by the tedder. Alright, then we can go back and go ahead and start picking everything up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the windrower, go ahead and pick everything up that it leaves behind, and probably also try to get those little piles that are left behind. I don't know, yeah, because there's a lot. I might grab the tedder and go ahead and put this left behind stuff into rows so that way it's easier for me to pick up. Because yeah, that's a lot of hay being left behind. Anyways, so yeah, let me go ahead and get everything baled up, and then we'll go ahead and get the bale stacker and stack up all these bales and figure out just how many bales we're going to get from this field. So I forgot to say one thing, the reason why I chose this baler. The reason is if you use round bales, the balers for... Oh, let's go ahead and wait. We need to wait just a little bit. Let the windrower go ahead and get through. What? It's turning around. Okay. As you can see, we got more than one bale going through the baler. It's actually working on its third one right now. Now, if you were using a round baler, what you would have to do is you would have to wait for that bale to finish. Then you would have to stop the vehicle, eject the bale before you can continue. Now, that becomes a pain in the ass and it slows everything down, so I prefer using the square bales. Also, the round bales like to roll away, which is also another pain in the ass. I don't like round bales. I just don't. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wait for this to all be done. I also need to go ahead and get the stacker. And like I said, we'll find out just how many bales we get from this little piece of land. Alright, I'm just going to stop here. I just wanted to go ahead and try to get a full bale. Now, there's one thing you do need to keep in mind when you're using balers. This baler, when you're done, just shut it off, hit Y, and it will eject any of the finished bales. Now, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, it says we still have 8% of a bale. Let me try to wiggle this thing off. There we go. It says that we still have 8% of a bale still in that baler. And unfortunately, we can't clean it out. We can't get rid of that hay. So if I went to another field where I was trying to pick up, say, straw, any straw that I pick up is still going to be part of the hay bale. So that bale is still going to be considered hay. So what you have to do, so you're not wasting straw or you're not wasting hay, is get more than one baler. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way the game is. And it's been like that forever. Let's go ahead and lift. There we go. Close her up. Alright, now that we got our hay, what we need to do is we need to go ahead and stack it. So I didn't count this. I have no idea how many there is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I think this stacker actually does 14. I'm not sure. But yeah, all we need to do, open her up. Now, in real life, this is not how it would be done. It is kind of like this, but not really. What you would have is you would have a guy on the ground who's actually following the tractor, and they would actually start the bales. They'd get them lined up, get them in a row, so that way this machine could pick it up. And then they would lift it, the front end, so that it could pick up the bale. So yeah, you would have somebody on the ground who's actually doing most of the work. I always wanted to be the guy on the tractor. I always did, but I never was. I was too young. But the stacker, the automatic stacker, actually does kind of work like this, somewhat. It's a little bit more complicated, but yeah, it doesn't do things automatically. There are switches and levers that you still have, and you still need to get everything working, like the arm and the lifter and all that, but it's pretty much the same. But of course, in Farming Simulator, we're just playing a game, and if you made it too realistic, it wouldn't be fun. That's why I always think it's kind of weird that they make games, simulator games, that simulate actual jobs. Like, what's the one? I've been thinking about playing one, Gas Station Simulator. And the fact that somebody actually took that and turned it into a game is cool. I like it. But I have played a little bit, but I was kind of debating on whether or not I want to make videos on it. I probably will have to because I haven't beaten it, and it is a game that is in my Steam library. Alright, so we'll wait for it to stack. And there we go. Alright, so one thing you also want to keep in mind with hay or any other type of bales is you want to keep them out of the weather. The problem is with rain and snow and stuff like that is they will actually start to collect bacteria, which will make them very hazardous to animals. So you probably want to keep them in an area that does have some sort of roof to keep them dry. A lot of people leave them out in the fields, and that's not always the best thing. It depends on what you want to use it for. Alright, I think is that it? I think that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, that's 12. And it looks like we still have room for 2 more bales. So yeah, it is 14, I think, holds on this thing. Now, there is one other thing I do want to check, but unfortunately I don't have a shed. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave the stack here for now, and next episode there's something I want to test out with this. So now all we have to do is we have to drop that stack. So we're going to hit Y. Whole thing's going to lift up. I love this machine. This machine is so cool. Alright, now the cool thing about this is it will still hold on to the bales, so you can actually move it around, get it into position where you want it, and then when you have it in the spot that you want it, just go ahead and hit Y again, and there you go. Now just pull out. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, we were only able to, oh, Y, there we go. We were only able to get 12 bales, but as much as we are supposedly supposed to be able to harvest this grass, we should be able to stack that up pretty quick and get a lot of hay bales pretty soon, because we are going to need a lot of them. So it's not very high. I'm kind of curious what kind of shed I would need to store this. We're going to have to find out. But anyways, one thing I do want to find out is how long I have to wait until I can harvest this grass again. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, since we have until March for our next crop, I'm going to go ahead and skip time so that way we can see just how long it takes for this grass to regrow. So luckily I have a mod, if I turn it on, that will allow me, there it is, to get up to 5,000 times speed. So this won't take but a minute. Oh, and there it is. Let me go ahead and slow down time. So it took until March. We started in October and took all the way to March. I think that's because we were in the winter season. I think that's how it works. So during the spring and up to the fall, this will actually grow a little bit faster. But now we're in March, which means we need to get to planting some other crops. But there is a few things that I do want to do first. One is we got all these vehicles which are chaotic right now. I have no place to put them. So we're going to have to get some storage over here And I think I'm going to put it over in that corner. Then also we need to place some other buildings like the cow pastures and all the other animal pastures. So I think next episode what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of building. We're going to go ahead and start placing some buildings, the buildings we need for organization, and then also for the ranch, so we could go ahead and start getting animals. Well, yeah, we'll explore that next episode. Until then, make sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.